Good afternoon, Central Ohio, and thanks for joining us here on another edition of our 10 Weather Impact Show here on your Monday. I'm meteorologist Aaron White, and it's been an interesting Monday, of course, as we saw our first snow of the season and brought in, some decent accumulation for some areas, and also did have some impacts on the roads here earlier today. And now this is actually a look at the snow as it was falling there around the State House earlier this morning and actually accumulating in many areas around downtown, and just made for a pretty busy start to our Monday and start to the work week here. And the snowy conditions actually certainly had an impact on traffic, including on US 23 north of I-270 west. A crash there involving an ODOT salt truck caused delays this morning. Thankfully, nobody was injured. And remember, with snowplows out on the roads, you need to be aware. Give plows plenty of room, avoid tailgating and passing, and watch out for the snowplow could actually the cloud, that the visible mass of snow sent airborne by the snowplow blade. And also, as we're talking about the snowfall, again, it is still something that you need to be aware of here as we go into the winter season.
The biggest thing is to just give us room to work. That is so important. We were hit 54 times in our snow plows last winter. We want to make sure that stays at zero for this winter. And that starts with all of us as drivers out there, giving these plow truck drivers room to work.
Now, thankfully, things are quieting down here for this afternoon, but check out some of the snowfall reports from across Central Ohio, and we had some pretty decent numbers, especially around Wilmington with 4.3 inches of snowfall. We had Hilliard with 3 inches of snow, Grove City at 2, around Reynoldsburg 1.5 inches, Washington Courthouse same thing with 1.5, and around Bexley about an inch, and just close to an inch around Columbus at the airport in downtown. You see there Grandview Heights, we had 1.7, so across the area generally a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches was pretty much the norm, so pretty much what we were forecasting here for Central Ohio. But as mentioned, there were a couple outliers, especially there Wilmington, again, with 4.3 inches of snow. Now, our attention turns to tonight and Tuesday morning as the snow is tapering off. Now, the colder air is settling in, and it's not just the cold temperatures, it's also the wind. You put the two together, and we're talking about wind chill factors down into the teens here by Tuesday morning. So make sure to be bundled up and bundle up the kids as they're heading off to the bus stop, as this will be the coldest air of the season so far, and we're going to be feeling it here again for Tuesday. Now, conditions do improve by the afternoon and really improves as we look ahead to the rest of the forecast, and we'll have a look at that here in just a moment. Meanwhile, let's take a live look over downtown Columbus, and you can see a lot of snow still on the ground, but it also is starting to melt. Our temperatures are right around freezing, so now you can kind of see it off there in the distance. We're getting a little bit of sunshine. That's going to help to melt some of the snow here today, and it's also going to bring about a concern here later on this evening into tonight. As the sun is out and our temperatures get back up into the mid-30s here today, well, it's going to melt the snow. It's going to keep roads wet in some spots, and then as our temperatures drop back below freezing tonight, there are going to be some icy, some slippery spots here during the overnight hours. So not only are we watching the cold temperatures and the wind chills, we're also going to be watching for some slick spots here going into your Tuesday morning. So do keep that in mind. Give yourself a little bit of extra time here for tomorrow. Right now, temperature at 32 degrees. Winds are northwest, breezy at 16 miles per hour, making it feel like it's only 21 here this afternoon. And again, those wind chill factors are going to drop down to the teens here by tonight. As we look at the radar picture, we are still tracking a few snow showers, mainly to our east around Zanesville, Cambridge, McConnellsville. Those are areas where we're still kind of getting some lake effect coming down there from Lake Erie through the Cleveland metro. All of our accumulating snowfall, that system actually is now well to our south, still bringing a little bit of light snow shower activity there in far southern Ohio. You can see the trend here, a lot of it really building to the south, actually some snow there into West Virginia now, right around Charleston, and still a few flurries into southern Ohio, areas around Chillicothe, and maybe a couple flurries where we still have the cloud cover. Same thing for Columbus, wouldn't rule out a flurry still today. But notice our clearing back to the west, so sunshine is in the forecast, but then we're watching what's up here as we're getting some more lake effect developing, and we'll see some clouds and potential for a few more flurries as we head into tonight. But now really tracking more accumulation. If we're going to see any more accumulation, it's going to be for the areas that are actively seeing the snow right now in far southern Ohio, West Virginia, and of course areas there with the lake effect happening here this afternoon. And that will continue going through tonight. zooming things out, we have a couple different systems that we're watching. The one, this is the main storm that brought in the colder air, brought in the moisture for all the snow that we have here today. And of course the lake effect, as we have the winds counterclockwise blowing off the lakes and producing that lake effect snow here still this afternoon. But also the smaller system that's actually taken all the snow that we had as well and bringing it down into parts of Kentucky and even down into Tennessee. That colder air really does sink pretty far south here with this system. So it's not unheard of to get snow this time of year. Of course, this is around the time we typically see our first snow, but definitely made for a difference here from what we've had recently. And it's going to be even different, though, going into the weekend when we say goodbye to all the snow and look ahead to some more sunshine and actually rain and mild temperatures back in the forecast. So as we go through the hour-by-hour forecast here, as we go through this afternoon, again, the snow clearing out. And then heading into tonight, we're tracking clear skies and then some clouds building in and eventually that chance for a few more flurries here during the overnight hours, but not going to amount to anything and just going to be passing through fairly quickly. But we will keep the cloud cover in the forecast and a few passing flurries, but no more accumulation is expected here for tonight and into our Tuesday. But again, we will see those colder temperatures and the cloud cover will have an impact on the temperatures that we get to tonight. Right now we're forecasting around 26, 27 degrees in Columbus and other areas. But if we don't see as much cloud cover tonight, because we have that fresh snow on the ground and if we have a clear sky, our temperatures could get down into the lower 20s. But I think some of the cloud cover will help from getting too cold. But even with that, whether we get down to 23 or 27, you throw the wind in there, it's going to feel like it's in the teens. So it's going to feel pretty cold here through tomorrow morning, and the cloudy skies will continue for most of the day. But we are looking ahead to sunshine going into Wednesday and also some warmer temperatures as we get back up into the 50s. So whatever you saw for snowfall today, it's all going to be out of here. It's all going to melt by Wednesday and Thursday for sure. But as we talk about additional snowfall, again, maybe in the dusting here in our southern counties with the snow that is still falling right now, but otherwise we're not really going to see anything. Just a few flurries are expected here tonight. Now our forecast low is 26 degrees. You throw that wind in there 10 to 15 miles per hour. It's going to feel like it's down in the teens here for tonight. And then for tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies and a couple of flurries can't be ruled out, but 38 for the high temperature. Wind out of the west at 10 to 15, making it feel pretty chilly here as we go through tomorrow. But tomorrow's it. After tomorrow, we are looking better here by Wednesday. We're tracking mostly sunny skies and up to the lower 50s here for the afternoon. And we will keep those 50s in the forecast going into Thursday and Friday. But as we head into the weekend, we are tracking our next weather maker that will bring some clouds, but it's also going to keep us on the mild side here. We have upper 50s in the forecast and a very slight chance for a couple showers here as early as Saturday evening. Now going into Saturday night and Sunday, that's when we will see that better chance of rain here with highs in the upper 50s to lower 60s. But again, a 10 weather impact alert here for tomorrow morning as we are tracking those colder temperatures in the 20s, but wind chill factors in the teens here. So the coldest air of the season so far, and it'll thankfully be out of here after tomorrow. Now today actually was 50 years ago, the anniversary of a storm unlike any other swallowed one of the Great Lakes' greatest ships, the Edmund Fitzgerald, a 729-foot freighter built in the heart of the Great Lakes shipping era, vanished beneath the waves of Lake Superior. All 29 souls on board lost.
I really didn't believe that a ship that size would sink.
Believe it or not, the Edmund Fitzgerald, nicknamed the Toledo Express, vanished beneath the water nearly 50 years ago. Christened in 1958, the Edmund Fitzgerald was the largest ship on the Great Lakes at the time. The 729-foot iron ore freighter was a workhorse and set records year after year, hauling taconite from Duluth to Detroit, Toledo, and other ports on the Great Lakes. But in the night of November 10th, 1975, even this mighty vessel couldn't endure the gales of November that unleashed hurricane-force winds and 35-foot waves on Lake Superior.
We're holding our own. We're holding our own.
Captain McSorley bravely navigated the storm and radioed the ship had a bad list, was taking on water, had lost radar, and was struggling to stay on course. Minutes later, the Fitzgerald disappeared. No distress call, no survivors.
We'll never forget our family members that did go down on it. We'll never forget that.
Through the night, rescue crews clung to hope and searched the stormy lake.
And knowing a little about hypothermia and the temperature of the water and, of course, the legend of Lake Superior, we knew that if we found anyone alive, it would be a miracle.
The next morning, November 11th, 1975, news spread across the Great Lakes. Churches tolled their bells 29 times, once for each soul on board. Families braced for the worst.
I was on my way to work in my car about 7 o'clock the next morning of November the 11th, and the news came on my radio.
And I remember going into my mom's bedroom and telling her, and she thought, no, you're making a mistake, you heard it wrong.
He loved us very, very, very much. He had tons of friends, and anytime anybody would talk about my dad, everybody loved my dad.
Polite, liked his ice cream at night. He'd sneak in because he worked 4 to 8 and didn't have time most of the time for his dessert, so I'd give it to him. He'd come through the back and get his ice cream with me. I was always happy to see him.
The loss was devastating. Questions lingered, theories piled up, failed hatches, shifting cargo, rogue waves, shallow shoals.
It doesn't really matter how it happened. It just happened. And we'll never know.
Among all uncertainty, families knew one thing. The wreck site was sacred. They fought to keep it undisturbed and instead brought the ship's bell to the surface. A bell that now rings every November 10th, carrying the names of the 29 men who never came home.
Because the bell is a very spiritual type thing. I think I might say it's spiritual in that it's the voice of the ship.
And that was Chris Vickers with our sister station in Toledo with that story again on the Edmund Fitzgerald, the 50 years since the sinking on the night of November 10th. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the forecast here one more time as we are still tracking some activity here. Still a few snow showers around, a few flurries happening here for the rest of today. But the bigger story is going to be, of course, the colder air coming in tonight. And those wind chill factors down into the teens here by really after midnight and going into tomorrow morning. So colder air is settling in, but thankfully, as you saw there with the forecast just a few minutes ago, we are tracking a pretty nice warm up as we head towards the middle to end of the work week and finally get some more sunshine. And we are seeing some sunshine out there right now, and that's going to help to improve road conditions as they are still wet in some areas. It'll help to dry up some of the roads, and actually that could be a benefit here as we head into tonight, because one of the concerns, of course, is as our temperatures are near freezing. And as we really drop below freezing here tonight back into the 20s, well, some of the wet roads, of course, and anything that melts here this afternoon would freeze again for tonight. So some slippery conditions not out of the question. So just give yourself extra time here tomorrow morning, of course, with the potential for some slippery spots, but also because of the colder temperatures that we have in the forecast. And now let's go ahead and talk about the snowfall again for today, our first snow of the season. And it brought a decent amount to some locations, exactly what we were forecasting, with most areas between 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. But there were a few spots that had a little bit more. Around Hilliard with a report of 3 inches, and we had Wilmington, the higher spot, around 4.3 inches, and also not on the list here, but I saw a report from Mansfield of about 4 inches of snowfall. So again, some good amounts. In Delaware, we had 1.4, Marysville around 1 inch, and Columbus, so about 1 inch of snowfall. Really kind of varied across the metro. We had Grandview Heights again with 1.7. So the snow's melting now, and we're going to see all the snow gone by Wednesday as our temperatures are back up into the 50s. But for tomorrow morning, again, we have a 10 weather impact alert here as we have the low wind chills down into the teens. Actual temperature will be around 26 degrees here for tomorrow morning. But you throw the wind out of the northwest at about 10 to 15, it's going to make it feel pretty chilly here for tomorrow. But conditions are going to improve. Now, as we look at the radar picture, we are still tracking a few flurries, some light snow showers here across far southern Ohio. Of course, we are getting the lake effect snow here in northeastern Ohio, areas around Cleveland, and the lake effect is actually kind of spotty. So spotty snow showers are basically going from Cleveland down to Cambridge, and then more of the snow that's actually been accumulating here today, that continues to move to the south, away from Chillicothe, away from Columbus, and we're still just tracking mostly cloudy skies, but we're starting to get that sunshine now. And most of us will see a little sunshine to finish off our Monday, but with clear skies tonight, our temperatures will start to drop down through the 20s. And then one thing that could help us a little bit is going to be some cloud cover building back in tonight, sort of acting like a blanket from us, from our temperatures getting too cold. As with the fresh snow on the ground, a lot of times when we have clear skies and fresh snow, our temperatures really drop down into the potentially down into the teens. We're not going to see that cold of temperatures. We're not going to see really low 20s, but mid-20s are definitely a good possibility for most areas. We could see a few spots into the lower 20s, but even with that, when you factor in the wind, it's going to feel like in the teens for pretty much everyone here going into tomorrow. Meanwhile, as we zoom things out and look at the bigger picture here, we are tracking a couple different things. One is that big low pressure system there over New England. That's our main storm that brought in the moisture, and now it's bringing in the colder air behind it. And you can see as winds are basically the rotation of it, the circulation counterclockwise, well, we're getting all this flow out of the northwest over the Great Lakes, bringing in more snow showers, bringing in potential for some flurries. And it's going to be this area that we'll watch for some more clouds and potential for some flurries as we head into tonight and going into tomorrow. Meanwhile, this little system right there, producing more snow and kind of pulling all the moisture away from us. So that's why the snowfall is really going to be ending here for today, outside of that chance for a couple flurries. As we go through the hour-by-hour forecast here one more time, looking at the snow moving away, here comes the sunshine for at least a few hours. So we'll get up into the mid-30s here for today for your high temperature, enough that we'll see some melting and potential for that refreezing here tonight as our temperatures drop below 32 down into the 20s. And like I mentioned, the saving grace here could be the cloud cover coming in here for tonight as we see more clouds and potential that our temperatures don't get too cold. I think we'll still get to around 26 degrees and then a couple flurries making their way through here tonight. Not going to bring us any more accumulation, but it's something we'll watch here as we go through the overnight hours into tomorrow. Again, temperatures will be cold in the morning. Wind chill factors in the teens will start to improve. We'll get into the upper 30s here by the afternoon, and then after that, much better conditions are in the forecast here starting on Wednesday. Additional snowfall, maybe a dusting in a few places, but otherwise we're pretty much done with the snow here for today, aside from a couple flakes overnight. 26 for a low. Again, wind chill factor with that wind northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. It'll feel like it's around 10 to 15 degrees. So a few places could even see upper single digits for wind chills, depending on how low our temperature gets tonight into tomorrow morning. By the afternoon, though, few peaks of sunshine, mostly cloudy skies, 38 for high temperatures, so a little bit better here by the afternoon, and then a lot better after that. So 10 weather impact alert here for the morning hours for the low wind chills and slippery conditions that we are expecting. And then by Wednesday, well, there you go, mostly sunny skies, looking nice. We got 52 for a high temperature here Wednesday, 53 on Thursday, and then upper 50s in the forecast looking ahead to Friday, and even nicer conditions as we get into really the latter half of Friday. So 58 degrees, not bad for the end of the work week. Now the weekend right now, going to be a little interesting as we have another system passing through, going to bring us to the clouds. Our temperatures will still be mild into the upper 50s to lower 60s, but we will have to watch that chance for some rain here by really going into